Oh, all right. What's good, y'all? What's good? Let's see where we connecting right now. All right, that looks good. All right, let's get this rocking and rolling here. All right, we're gonna start this up in just a hot minute, y'all. Okay, let's see here. I've got so many freaking windows open right now. It's not even funny. Oh, what a night. What a night. All right, let's see here. Let's post this right here. Cover it. Latest few releases and more. Okay, cool. And we'll just do this real quick. All right, cool. Boom. And yeah, let's go ahead and connect. You guys that's tuning in right now, we're going to start in about 60, 75 seconds tops. I'm just trying to make sure we're connected on all the usual outlets here before we officially begin. Lot of shit we got to get into though. So, I mean, we're keeping the show as nice and simplistic tonight because this is pretty much breaking news. But honestly, give me a second here. I got so many windows open here, so hopefully we don't experience any lag here. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead here. I'm laying low from social media and what is supposed to be my damn break from the shows until next week. And then all of a sudden, it just fucking opens up a shitstorm. That's pretty much how you sum up today, I think. Let's see here. All right, let's go ahead. Let's put this right here. Again, you guys is just tuning in. We're going to be starting in about 60 seconds. Appreciate everybody's patience here. I'm just making sure we're good to go here on the back end. That's all. All right, so let me go ahead here. Give me... that's weird. Hang on. There it is. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and... let me see, where is that? Yep, there it is. Okay. All right, that looks good. And on the bus. Bam. Okay, so that looks good. All right. Okay. Perfect. Hang on, guys. Okay, cool. All right, let's go ahead and save that. Yeah, that'll work. All right, we're rocking, we're rolling. Let's go ahead, let's do this. All right, audio check, 1, 2, 3. Audio check, 1, 2, 3. All right, countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hey guys, what's going on? Lee Sanders here, 411mania.com columnist and reporter. Covering the latest in all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. Here we are for Thursday night of November 4th, 2021. I had said my farewell to you guys on Wednesday night's RCWR show. We were talking all things NXT, Dynamite. We were also going over what went down with the breaking news there on Jon Moxley entering rehab, and nice show. If you guys didn't check it out, go back, check it out. Would encourage you to check it out. There's some nice heavy shit that we talked about at the beginning of the show for the first hour there in regards to mental health and all that. And I told you guys, hey, other than our Patreon familia, see you guys next week. Your next show is next Monday. Little did I know I was going to be coming right back here less than 24 hours later to react to the sad news that has come about today. I usually lay low from social media once I'm done with the shows. You know, I'll put a little something out there, but usually once I'm done with the shows, it's kind of, for the most part, non-wrestling related. We got almost 20 wrestlers that have been released today by the WWE. You want to talk about fell on black days? To quote one of my favorite Soundgarden songs, wearing a Soundgarden sweater, as a matter of fact. This is just balls crazy. There are so many names. Let's stop beating around the bush. Let's dive into some of these names. We're not even gonna at random. Now, I will spend a couple of minutes talking about some of these names, and I cannot stress it enough. There are a lot of names, okay? So, shout out to the good, kind people over there at Fightful. I know Sean Ross Sapp, he has pretty much been the one to be on top of this. What started off as, okay, there's been a couple of releases from some departments. What departments? Not really sure, because it's like, okay, is it catering? Is it marketing? Is it communications? Is it what's going on? That's the one thing you hear, and you're kind of like, whatever. And then, I don't know, maybe like 2 hours go past, and the next thing you know, the floodgates just open up, and all these wrestlers just start freaking. Now, before I go any further, I want to have some real talk right here, and on a serious note, I want to extend nothing but thoughts, sincere thoughts to everybody that has been released by WWE today. It is okay for you guys that were released today to feel rage. It's okay to feel upset. You are allowed to feel however you want to feel. Hell, maybe you might feel glad. Whatever the first emotions that's coming through your mind right now upon getting your release today, you are allowed. I'm not telling you guys something that you probably don't already know, but look, seriously, it's okay to feel however you want to feel today. Allow it to happen. And then at the same time, I've always been a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. I've always been a firm believer in that. I have always had the philosophy of relationships, they come and go, friendships, everything has its time within a season. That's always been my mentality. Forward, always forward. Remember these things. If you remember anything I'm saying, just remember these things, okay? And you guys will definitely be all right. I know it's easier said than done for some of you guys, especially as we are really going into the start of the major holidays. We're just a couple of weeks away from Thanksgiving. I hope that a lot of you guys were able to save up money wherever you can, when you can, and you got enough to tie you over until you can figure out what that next move is going to be and everything. So definitely want to push that out front before we dive any further. Let's go into some of these names, just no particular order. Mia Yim, 32-year-old Mia Yim. Shocker. I gotta tell you, this was pretty shocking right here for me, because this is a woman, man. I remember her work. I go back a long ways as far as following the work of Mia Yim. I mean, we've been at this since 2011, but I can recall coming across her work right, I want to say, during the year 2012, when I had began covering the Shine Wrestling Women's promotion on a semi-regular basis. And that's where I was really first exposed to the work of Mia Yim. I know prior to that, she was doing stuff for CZW and everything and some other promotions prior to that. But Shine Wrestling and Shimmer Wrestling is actually where I started coming in, and I had become a big fan of her work and everything. And this is somebody that I always felt, man, this girl, she's got what it takes. If there was anybody that, okay, you need to have your eyes on this person because they look like they are going somewhere here. This is a name we're going to be talking about for many years to come. I always felt that Mia Yim was that woman, and I was definitely ecstatic for her pretty still early in her career there when she ended up going to work for TNA/Impact Wrestling. I'm sure a lot of you guys remember that tenure there. You remember the Dollhouse. I thought that little stable, for what it was worth, that stable ran for what? About a year, if we're even lucky. I think it ran about maybe a year. It was her, Marty Bell, and I'm trying to think who the third girl was. And when she was in Impact Wrestling /TNA, Mia Yim, she went under the name Jade. I think the third girl that was part of Dollhouse, if I remember right, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was Taryn Terrell. If I remember right, I believe it was Taryn Terrell. But yeah, that was just, I was loving all of that. I was loving all that was going on there with the Dollhouse. And then eventually all that kind of broke up. She had some pretty good feuds there, the Mia Yim /Jade, with Gail Kim for the Knockouts Championship. She also had some feuds there with Madison Rayne, if I remember as well. She contributed for a hot little minute there to TNA/Impact Wrestling. There's definitely some pretty good stuff that she did in there. Sienna, or as you guys really know her, you really know her as Allison Kay. She was locking it up with her. She had some pretty good shit. When you look at Mia Yim's work from Shimmer, Shine, TNA/Impact, honestly, I'm not just saying it. Anybody that has been following her work that long, recall those particular periods of time, will tell you, yeah, this girl definitely. So for me, very ecstatic when she ended up signing with the WWE there. Everything was looking pretty promising for her at the very beginning. I mean, look, you go back and you think about when she entered the Mae Young Classic tournament. I mean, I couldn't tell you how ecstatic I was that she was involved in that Mae Young Classic tournament. I just felt on a personal level, you know what? Even if she's not the one to win this tournament, and I don't even think I had her winning the tournament. I think I might have had her in the Final Four, though, when I was filling out my bracket. Because I think back then, I don't know if they did it with the first Mae Young Classic or if it was the second one, but I remember there was some type of a little bracket thing that we were able to fill out at some point. But I definitely remember doing something, and I had Mia Yim. As much as I'm big fan of her work, I had her in the Final Four, basically. And for me, I felt, okay, even if she doesn't win the Mae Young Classic, we're going to be seeing much more of her in the WWE. And what better way to really get things off and popping than go in to the NXT route and then eventually, move on up and everything. As you guys recall from that Mae Young Classic tournament, she defeated Sarah Logan in the first round, and then pretty much afterwards she got eliminated in the second round by Shayna Baszler. And then a little bit after that, if you guys recall, and you would have thought that something would have blossomed from that period of time when it came to the first Mae Young Classic tournament. Like something will materialize as far as some type of a contract deal or whatever. Nothing materialized. You go to the second Mae Young Classic, Mia Yim in that bad boy yet again. And this go round, she gets eliminated yet again. Now, I remember when the tournament came about for the second tournament, she defeated Allison Kay in the first round. And then she faced, wasn't it Caitlyn? I'm almost certain it was Caitlyn that she faced in the second round. And then ultimately losing to Toni Storm in the semifinal. So, I mean, yeah, Mia Yim went a little bit farther there. Everything else pretty much was history after that, because thanks to her performance in that second Mae Young tournament, she pretty much had got a WWE contract and everything. And we started seeing her on NXT for a hot little bit. Had some nice little matches here and there. I think probably if you're a Mia Yim fan, one moment from NXT that will probably stand out to you the most is NXT TakeOver Toronto, where she had what was honestly a pretty good match against Shayna Baszler for the NXT Championship. And then shortly after that, just as Mia Yim was starting to build up some type of momentum, all of a sudden she gets an opportunity to go up on the main roster as part of NXT talent that were part of that whole invasion angle with Raw and SmackDown going into that respected Survivor Series pay-per-view and everything. I'm sure you guys probably recall that. She then was the partner for Rhea Ripley to join the first ever women's War Games. So, I mean, she has some really, really nice moments that came about. Although few, but definitely some memorable moments in NXT. Everything really changed for her 2020 in the fall when she got put on the main roster there in that horrendous stable known as Retribution. We'd be here all night. I mean, look, it's gotten to a point we can honestly do a gag reel for Retribution, because that's how cringe that Retribution stable was. And, not for nothing, but it was clear as day, the people that we were watching in Retribution, clear as day. Wait, that's so-and-so. Wait, that's so-and-so. Mia Yim, like, wait, it's clear as day. And, you're just looking at this and you're just, wait a minute. With some of these people in Retribution, you just couldn't help but say, why do we have this person behind a mask? Why do we have, I know when it came to Mia Yim particularly, I'm going, why do we have this woman behind a mask? This is so freaking stupid. She doesn't need to be wearing a mask. There's no need for her to be going under a different name here. The hell with the whole marketing / profit purposes. Just let her go out there and continue to be Mia Yim. What's so freaking wrong with that? Like, seriously. But it was what it was. But I tell you what, that whole thing with Retribution, it did not last that long. I mean, look, not for nothing, but if you remember anything from Mia Yim being in Retribution, mad props to you. Shout out to you too. Bonus shout out to you if you remember what her name was when she was with Retribution. Okay? Because I wouldn't expect anybody, unless you're a diehard, I wouldn't expect anybody to remember what her name was when she was in Retribution there. But I mean, the one significant contribution she had there when she was part of Retribution was a match with Dana Brooke. And she lost that match. Yeah, that just was weird. And, they had the whole courting there of Mustafa Ali and just all that stuff that was going on with that. Sporadically, we saw her here and there. Then she was assigned just a couple of months later. Didn't even make it 90 days with the Retribution stable when she got put on the SmackDown brand. And then, like, a month or two later, she gets traded back to the Raw brand in exchange for Naomi. You guys remember that? Yeah. And then as part of the 2021 draft, she just was quietly dropped as her name. I'm going to give you the name this go around, but the only time I'm going to mention it. Reckoning. They pretty much had dropped the Reckoning name, and then they were now going with Mia Yim as she was drafted to the Raw brand, and now here we are as she has been released from her contract without even reappearing on television as Mia Yim. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just a little bit flabbergasted, just kind of shaking my head, just going, what the hell here? Because if there's one thing that we've always talked about on the podcast on a weekly basis when we're looking particularly at WWE, when we're talking about the WWE product, and as far as weaknesses where, okay, there needs to be some significant improvement in this area right here, we always home in on the women's division. We always home in on the women's division. And particularly when you look at how things are going on the SmackDown side of things, I mean, you guys got eyeballs. You see what's going on with the blue brand. Other than the whole Sonya Deville, Naomi, you know, you kind of, right? I'll be honest. It's, And look, we got Charlotte over there, but you know, we really haven't truly built anybody else up over there just yet. Oh, let's not forget, we also got Sasha Banks over there as well, who just came back. But you get the point that I'm making here, right? You get the point that I'm making. It's like, okay, next woman, next man up, let's go. You know, the Raw side of things, I've always felt that for the longest time, for several months, the Raw side of things, the women just are not really... And you've seen some of the stuff that has come about with some of your favorites, whether you want to look at Rhea Ripley. I know some people, they like what's going on with Nikki Ash. Other people, they don't like what's going on with that. You look at Doudrop, you know, there's a few, right? So I find it a little bit odd that of all the people that really could have been truly successful for the women's division, you got a nice, good veteran there. Person definitely willing to learn, pretty well connected. A lot of the people that's already been in WWE for many years, I'm sure they know of her, definitely can vouch for her and all that. You know, you talk about somebody that you could look upon that can be a really good locker room leader and all that good stuff. And we just pretty much show her the door. Mia Yim, I'm not concerned about. I'll tell you that right now. Mia Yim is definitely going to bounce back extremely well. If you ask me honestly where I would like to see her land personally, look, I mean, this is a no-brainer. You guys should know this by now. It's a no-brainer. She's most likely going to be doing some stuff on the regular with Shine and Shimmer once again. But as far as regular, where she's probably going to end up landing and everything, I honestly wouldn't mind her doing something with Impact. I wouldn't mind seeing her do something with the NWA as their women's division. Slowly but surely, it's coming along. You know, they're adding more and more cool pieces to it. I mean, it's really coming along. If you haven't been checking out the NWA product in a good minute, as that's a promotion that we talk about on a weekly basis, I would definitely say NWA. AEW, see, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. You know why I have a little bit of trepidation right now? Because I'm looking at how things currently are about with our girl Ruby Soho, and right now I'm kind of still touch and go. I'm looking particularly at, okay, let's see in about 3 months, 6 months where we are with Ruby Soho, but right now I'm just kind of feeling a little bit right? So I'm not really, I mean, if you were to ask me what would I expect of seeing a Mia Yim in AEW, I mean, make no mistake about it, there's definitely some really good matchups that's in there for her. I mean, off the break, I'm just thinking about her and Thunder Rosa going at it. That would be freaking badass. I know Diamante is still doing her thing over there as well. So those are some pretty good matchups right there. You also got Serena Deeb. I mean, so there's definitely some really good matchups that's in there. But I really would like either Impact or NWA, but Mia Yim is definitely going to be okay. Now, perfect segue, because I'm sure some of you guys, you stay connected on social media and everything, you're probably going, well, what about her husband, or soon-to-be husband? Didn't she recently get engaged to Keith Lee? What does this mean for Keith Lee? Well, if you somehow missed the title of this video, you missed the graphic. Keith Lee was released. If there was anybody I had my eyes on, where I'm going, you know what? This guy has all the tools. He's got what it takes. This is an individual that, you know what? Dare I say, he could be the 5th black WWE champion. He could be the 5th African-American WWE champion. That's how confident I felt in my man, Keith Lee. Big freaking supporter of Keith Lee. No name on this list shocked me more than the release of Keith Lee, I have to tell you. I'm flabbergasted. Really, I'm speechless. I have nothing to say in regards to Keith Lee. I don't get this. I'm thinking about the phenomenal matches that he had with Dijakovic there down in NXT. I'm thinking about when Keith Lee had won the NXT championship. I mean, what a great freaking run that was. Even though he lost too, I'm thinking about Keith Lee's feud there with Karrion Kross. And I'm just going, man, you know, this is very promising. This is really, really promising. This dude is freaking, he's going places. You know, I'm looking at him and I'm just going, yeah. I would love to see him feud with a Randy Orton. Or give me him and Bobby Lashley. Or him tearing it up with Big E. Or hell, being tag team partners with Big E. And they're going for tag team gold or whatever. You know, I'm looking at him. I'm going, yeah, you know what? Let Keith Lee do a little something with AJ Styles or Daniel Bryan. I mean, I'm just picturing all these great matchups. My man is very articulate, very good on the microphone. Some people may feel he's a little bit too wordy sometimes. I think it's just right, personally. It's just right. Okay? Decorated journeyman. Decorated journeyman. And let's not forget, I hope you guys by now, you checked out Keith Lee's WWE Chronicle special. Because, man, that was very, very eye-opening. Not for nothing, this guy had got shut down by WWE a couple of times. And then when he really was just starting to piece it all together, he was becoming white hot on the independents, really started making a name for himself. He had an opportunity, and I'll have to rely on you guys if my memory is a little bit fuzzy. But if I remember it right, one of the opportunities he had, he could go work for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I think there were maybe actually 3 offers total, because the third one definitely from WWE. I can't remember what the second one was from, but I know New Japan was part of it. And, you know, if there was ever a, you know what, dude, they shut you down a couple of times, that's WWE's loss. Just go do you. He went on ahead and went with WWE because that was honestly where he had always wanted to be and everything. You know, this is a Ring of Honor alumni. Okay? This is a Ring of Honor alumni. And I think that's very important to stress because, you know, Ring of Honor, some pretty damn good talents. We'd be here all night just going over the names and everything. Everything was really promising with this guy down in NXT. It really was. That 2-year period when he was down there in NXT, very, very promising. For that guy to become a double champ while he was down there in NXT, a North American champion and an NXT World Heavyweight champion, you just felt that as soon as he was drafted to Raw, okay, you know what? This brother's going to be all right. All right, not for nothing, but WWE, as far as their main roster goes, they needed some, you know, more heavier names. They need some more fresh new faces, promising faces like yesterday. You just couldn't help but be ecstatic for a guy like Keith Lee and say, all right, you know what? They're going to do something. And you know what? They started off pretty good with Keith Lee. You guys remember that? He started off pretty damn good. He faced Randy Orton. Didn't get a clean victory. Remember that. He actually had lost that via disqualification due to interference from Drew McIntyre. And then somehow they ended up intertwining him and Drew, and there was some type of a buddy system that they had going on there. But then you had a rematch between Keith Lee and Randy Orton at the Payback pay-per-view. Lee won that. And then there was the Survivor Series where he had a pretty good showing as part of Team Raw. Remember that? He was with AJ Styles. He was with Strowman, Sheamus. They beat Team SmackDown. And he looked pretty promising right there. Then he was in contention for the WWE Championship. Believe it or not. Yeah. So, I mean, this guy was off to a pretty good start. He was mixing it up there with AJ Styles. Then he unsuccessfully challenged Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. So, I mean, this guy was off to a pretty good start. Then you had the Bobby Lashley Riddle picture there for the United States Championship. And then all of a sudden, you know, he unfortunately had an injury and he got pulled. That pretty much was, I think it was going into, was it Elimination Chamber? I think it was going into Elimination Chamber. You know, he ended up getting pulled and everything. Several months going by. You know, we all are kind of wondering what the hell's going on with Keith Lee. Is he all right? You know, what's going on? Then when we find out, turns out he was dealing with COVID and he also was dealing with heart inflammation. So this guy was gone for about 5 months. And I tell you what, I'll never forget. I'll never forget the so-called fans that were taking to social media before they even found out about the whole heart inflammation. When it came to the stuff about COVID, I'll never forget how so many so-called fans went on social media and they were blaming Mia Yim. They were, yes, I bullshit you not, they were blaming Mia Yim. Oh, Mia gave Keith Lee COVID. I mean, they were just all kinds of crazy. It just made you embarrassed to be a fan. Seriously, it made you embarrassed to be a wrestling fan when you were seeing this stuff that was being spewed out by these so-called wrestling fans. And then when we found out, on top of dealing with COVID, he had a heart condition. You're like, oh, wow. Okay, well, that explains a lot. Okay, all right, well, you know. Hey, great to see you. Great you're back at it. You know, can't wait to see you. You know, you hear stuff like that. You're like, okay, you know, take it one step at a time. Sure enough, one step at a time. You know, we get that. But then when we get Keith Lee, you know, returning and everything, you know, he very weird. You know, we see him do this whole, we know it's not him. We know that it's a Vince McMahon audible, but he fucking gets called Keith Bearcat Lee or Bearcat Lee, you know, and the fable, because that's what it has become. The fable is, oh, this is pay homage to Bearcat Wright. I drank the Kool-Aid for a little bit because I'm a nostalgia fanatic for all things old school wrestling, right? So, you know, I'm looking up freaking Bearcat Wright. I'm going, okay, well, I don't know how this connects with Keith Lee, and I've never exactly heard Keith Lee say this was one of his favorite guys growing up, but yeah, sure, dude, whatever, works for me. Just, you know, you can call Keith Lee Paperbag Man for all I care. What the fuck is he doing on the mic? What's he doing in the ring? That's all I care about. Never really took off, this whole Bearcat gimmick, right down to the point. Right before he was released, I'm sure you guys probably remember, he actually had got what supposedly was, I guess, a Bearcat growl for his theme entrance. Yo, young, that is the worst freaking growl I've ever heard from a Bearcat in my entire life. You really owe it to yourselves. Go on YouTube or Daily Motion and look up Keith Lee's last theme for Bearcat. you hear this, I don't know, it's not a, it's not one of those. It's, it sounds like something went down this bear cat's throat the wrong way, and he is just trying to regurgitate the hell out of it or whatever, right? But what the hell? And you got Keith Lee in recent interviews saying, Vince McMahon, he really believes in me, and I trust him. I trust his vision and all this other good stuff. And we see the end result. Keith Lee now gone from the WWE. I don't want to be here saying to you guys, this person is more worthy than this person. And, I really hate to go in that direction. But if you followed the work of Keith Lee prior to him in the WWE, you just were amazed. And to just really, my biggest takeaway in regards to Keith Lee, how do you fuck that up? Seriously. If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. It would be no different than somebody saying, hey man, I've got a brand new phone just for you. It's fresh out of the box. Man, it's got all the apps that you'll need. It's got all the latest firmware. It's up to date. Man, you are just ready to go. Enjoy yourself. And rather than you enjoy that phone, you decide, nah, I'm going to go on ahead. I'm going to open this bad boy up. I'm going to take my little screwdriver and some other stuff, and I'm going to pop open this bad boy, and I'm going to fuck around with the circuitry, and I'm going to do all this other stuff, and I'm just going to give the phone a complete makeover. I'm going to do a complete 180. That's literally what Vince McMahon and crew did to frickin' Keith Lee. Head scratching, nauseating, WTF, the whole 9 yards in regards to Keith Lee. There's no excuse. They failed Keith Lee. That's the sad part about this. Really, when you look at all the men and women that were released today. But I definitely want to home in on Keith Lee. All right. Any and everything that is asked of this person to do, this person has gone above and beyond. So, not sorry. They did not fail you. You failed them when it counted the most. Stupid. Just absolutely stupid. So, Keith Lee, I feel for them. Couple engaged, trying to make wedding plans, all that good stuff, But Keith Lee, if he's still very interested in pursuing the sport of pro wrestling, he's going to be all right. You asking me where I personally would like to see him land and everything? MLW would be pretty good. I wouldn't mind seeing him in MLW. I actually wouldn't even mind seeing him in Impact. No AEW. I'm not seeing AEW. I honestly feel that he would just be an average Joe in AEW. If it was a case where we're talking AEW when it's first starting up in its first year, basically, that would be totally a different story. But they got so many big names over there now, and then the second tier of some established names that I just would not really see Keith Lee really getting to those heights that we all feel. Yeah, he definitely, I feel he'd be lost in the shuffle down in AEW. So that's why I'm not going with AEW right now. No, I think a really good fit for him would definitely be MLW. Hell, even New Japan. Yeah, my exact order: MLW, New Japan, Impact. Impact would be like just the last, right, all else fails and the money's right, all that good stuff, okay, go ahead, enjoy Impact. But MLW and New Japan is what I'm eyeballing. All right, so from that name, did not plan on going into this name. Actually, you know what? Because I got even more to say about that name that's coming up next. Let's skip that one because that goes hand in hand with another one. Let's save that for later. I think you guys kind of know where I was going with that one. Let's go with our next one. 37-year-old Eva Marie. Eva Marie released by the WWE. A little bit hit scratching on this one. A little bit hit scratching on this one. So, look, in regards to Eva Marie, because I know some of you guys are probably wondering, you know, when was the last time Eva Marie was on television? Because it kind of feels like maybe it's been a good minute since we've seen her. What exactly is going on here? Last time Eva Marie was on television, it goes back to September 20th of this year. It was on an episode of Raw where Doudrop defeated her. And pretty much we have not seen Eva Marie since then. Now, she was dealing with some type of an injury. As a matter of fact, WWE, I don't know how many of you guys remember this, but this was, all right, so I told you it was around September 20th. That was the last time that we saw Eva Marie. About a week after that, so pretty much right as we were about to go into October, WWE actually had put out an injury update for Eva Marie. They put it out on their website and everything. And the way that they kind of dubbed this, they said that it was in storyline medical update on Eva Marie following that vicious attack that came about on her from Shayna Baszler, if you guys recall, for that respected week's Raw. And the injury update that they put out there, they said Eva Marie was evaluated after Raw and is being treated for a possible dislocation of her elbow following another brutal attack by Shayna Baszler. Stay locked to WWE social media, and that pretty much was it. And we pretty much hadn't seen anything with Eva Marie since then. I thought there was going to be a case where, you know, it was awesome seeing Shayna Baszler just coming out, just breaking bitches. I just loved it. It's like, okay, we're getting back to basics here. Okay, this is cool. I thought, if anything, Eva Marie was going to be back sometime in late October, maybe early November. I was expecting for her to come back, and I'll be honest with you, I was expecting her to really pick up where she left off the first rodeo when she was with the WWE. I mean, I remember when she had the fans just right there in the palm of her hand. She didn't even have to do a goddamn thing. And the fans were just booing her ass. I mean, she had that nice white hot liquid gold heat. I'm not talking about that Baron Corbin go away, get off my TV heat. I mean, she had that, oh, that's that good money heat. And for whatever respected reason, Eva Marie released by the WWE. Now, look, you know, granted, while Eva Marie was away from the WWE, we did see her try to dip into some Hollywood projects, few things here and there. And look, when you look as gorgeous as Eva Marie does, you know, nice. Look, I'll be honest, you know, very attractive lady, great physique. I can tell that she puts a lot of time and effort into her physique and everything. Her appearance means obviously everything to her and all that. You know, somebody with those kind of looks, like, yeah, you definitely would expect for them to go pretty damn far outside of the wrestling industry. And to her credit, she opened up her own little fashion line while she was away. Did some TV, some movie stuff here and there. You know, maybe it didn't quite go to the heights of, say, Angelina Jolie or something like that. But, she was making a nice little name for herself and everything. And it's interesting that things this go round. Head scratcher. It really, really is, because I really was expecting her to pick things up when she was in WWE the first go round. And then to see the stuff that was going on with Doudrop, I enjoyed it, especially when ultimately it was all about organically trying to get a new star over, trying to establish a new star. So I thought the way WWE had went about things with Eva Marie, I thought it was pretty good. If you were to pick my brain and ask me where was I expecting for Eva Marie to go after, everything was all said and done, honestly, especially going into the draft, and I think we even teased it when we were talking about it on our mock draft edition. I remember saying, hey, why not pair Eva Marie up with Carmella? That'd be kind of a interesting little duo right there. Why not maybe try to do something with them, try to figure out a way to get Eva Marie in some type of all-women stable, if you will. And I think at the time, now that I kind of look back in retrospect, if you were to maybe pull something somewhat similar to what Toxic Attraction is doing in NXT, if maybe you kind of wanted to do something like that on the main roster with Eva Marie as that centerpiece, I just felt that it definitely would have been banging. But of all the releases, this is definitely one that just, I think she's going to be okay, honestly, though. I mean, I think really the $1 million question right now is, does Eva Marie want to continue pursuing professional wrestling, or is her heart elsewhere? And I wouldn't be surprised if the way some fans kind of always felt about Eva Marie, nah, man, she ain't really about that life. Don't really care for her. Don't really want to invest in her. She's really not about. And maybe for some fans, they maybe kind of saw through the facade that, nah, this ain't really a lifer. This ain't really somebody that's going to be, put in 5 years. This seems like somebody that's pretty much just make a quick buck, tell you use me up, kind of one of those type of deals. If that was you, if you were kind of thinking like that, you may kind of felt a little justified here. But Eva Marie, that's kind of murky. I'm not really sure. If you're asking me for my gut instinct right now, I don't see Eva Marie doing anything with another wrestling promotion. I just don't see it. She does not come off to me as somebody that is, okay, you do this to me? You gonna release me? Okay. All right, I got something for that ass. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna prove it to myself. Just watch this. I don't see her as, no. I see her just, okay, well, that didn't work out. So, casting call on VH1's reality. I just see her going more in that direction. I'd be very, very surprised to see her continuing on in pro wrestling. What do you guys think? You think I might be on to something here, or are you seeing something I'm not seeing? Do you guys feel that Eva Marie is actually going to continue on her wrestling career? Let me know. Sound off. I'm reading some of the comments that you guys are saying in the chat right now. And please keep it up. Don't think I'm ignoring you guys. I'm actually seeing what you guys are saying. So I'll definitely show you guys some love in a hot second. Let's keep rocking and rolling, though, and let's keep going with some more names here. John Morrison's wife, Taya Valkyrie, otherwise known as Frankie Monet, released. Breaks my heart to hear that. The 38-year-old veteran, man, this is a woman that's been at it for so many years. Lucha Libre, Lucha Underground, messing around with the Mexican independent circuit there for a good minute. Good minute. You talk about somebody that is definitely an in-ring veteran. You're talking about somebody that has established themselves pretty much in every single promotion they've had an opportunity to work for. I was over the moon when finding out Frankie Monet. I hate that. I always did hate that name. Taya Valkyrie is how I know her. That's a name I'm going to keep going with. I was very excited when Taya Valkyrie signed with the WWE. I just felt it was a long time coming, that this was somebody that honestly should have been signed to the WWE many years prior. And I felt better late than ever. Better late than ever. This, for me, is a head scratcher. This, for me, is a head scratcher. I know WWE is saying that budget cuts for pretty much all these people that were released. That's what they're claiming. They're claiming budget cuts. Yeah, forgive me if I think that's a big old crock of bullshit. Forgive me for that. I'm having a hard time digesting that. Seriously. This feels very weird to me. It feels very, very weird to me. I'm at a loss for words when it comes to the release of Frankie Monet / Taya Valkyrie, because Taya Valkyrie, I'll be candid with you guys. I never expected for Taya Valkyrie to ever become an NXT Women's Champion. Never expected that whatsoever. However, what I did expect for Taya to be doing in NXT, the role that she would be playing, I thought she would be wearing two hats down there in NXT. On the one hand, I thought she would essentially follow somewhat in the footsteps of being that older sister, if you will, that Candice LeRae role. You guys have heard constantly how all the girls that come in through NXT, Candice LeRae is the one that pretty much breaks them in and everything, and is helping them with their in-ring work and everything. I had always envisioned Taya Valkyrie would be in that role, while at the same time in front of the cameras, she would be the one to get involved in whatever Instant Acme feud. But ultimately, it would be about putting over that other talent. She would have some moments here and there. Like, if anything, I just kind of felt that, okay, you know what? Maybe somewhere down the road, we'll see Frankie Monet, NXT Women's Champion. Maybe we'll see something like that come about. And weird, just very weird. Of course, her being involved in WWE, I had always envisioned that one day she would freaking get the call up to the main roster, and her husband would actually do something in real life. I gotta keep it 100 for a second, to the point. I thought that eventually, honestly, something was going to go down where her, Morrison, Miz, Maurice would maybe do something badass going into WrestleMania. Because remember how it seemed as though Miz and Morrison were, and then all of a sudden it just, pump the brakes. Miz is now run off, and he did the whole Dancing with the Stars, and he finally got eliminated this week. And I just felt, okay, well, no bullshit. I literally said, once I found out Miz got eliminated earlier this week, I said, oh, okay, cool. So let's go back to this whole Miz Morrison program. Maybe we can kind of set something up here and get the couples involved, and, pretty much we can go from there. And, now it just, so for me, this just really feels like none of this feels like budget cuts to me. None of this. in the case of Taya Valkyrie, it honestly just gives me the, I hate to say this, I gotta be candid though, it just feels like we kind of want the younger women. Now, I consider Taya Valkyrie a young woman. Some of you guys might not. You know, you guys might be saying 38 is so old. Like, I don't think that's old. You know, you want to say, you're kind of seasoned. Okay, if you're kind of seasoned, I'll say, okay, 44, 45. I mean, 38. Come on. That's not old, folks. I actually remember hearing somebody earlier this week, I'm mad that Mickie James became the Knockouts champion. Mickie James is too old to be a champion. Their words, not mine. I don't want no 40-something-year-old Mickie James as the Knockouts champion. It's shit like this why Impact Wrestling sucks. Anyway, I digress. Let's keep going. But Taya Valkyrie, look, we don't even need to be concerned about Taya Valkyrie. We already know she's going to continue to stay involved in pro wrestling. So, I mean, that is a woman you can plug and play her with any promotion. Seriously, you can plug and play her with any promotion. It just comes down to what's more convenient for her. You know, at this point in her life, is she interested in going overseas? And you feel where I'm coming from? It's all about preference right now. But all the promotions that you guys can think of where they got a women's division, you can pretty much plug and play her. If you want to pick my brain personally, and hey, if you could have it your way, which promotion would you like to see her, you know, at? I personally would love to see her. I personally would love to see her in. I think she'd be all right in AEW. I think she would be all right in AEW. I think she would do just fine. You plug her in there. NWA is another one, but you know, NWA, you know, the way that they go about taping their stuff and all that. See, that's the thing. Some of these folks, as much as they'd be a cool fit for NWA, does NWA have that money, honey, so that they can freaking play with some of these people, right? That's the only thing. So your guess is good as mine. But if money were not an issue, I would definitely say, if not AEW, NWA, maybe plug over there. I tell you what, if you're Stardom, just saying, Stardom's been picking up a lot of freaking steam. And man, could you just imagine if you were able to acquire the services of Taya Valkyrie? That'd be pretty damn good. That would be pretty damn good. All right, so Taya Valkyrie, but yeah, I feel, and I think we all feel, she's going to be all right. She's going to be all right. All right, staying with the women here. And we just knocked out 2 women just now, didn't we? Yeah. Figuratively speaking. Not literally. Figuratively speaking. Amber Moon. 33-year-old Amber Moon released from the WWE. She wrestled on the Independents as Athena. That's where I first came across her work, when she was Athena. And I remember seeing her stuff as early as Shimmer and WSU. I know she was also doing her thing there with Booker T's promotion, because remember, one of the people that trained her was Booker T. There's a few people that she was trained under, but Booker T being one of the main ones. You know, Amber Moon. When I think of Amber Moon, I think of opportunities after opportunities after opportunities. And, you know, I can remember being here on the show many times in the earlier years, because look, she's been with WWE, you know, whether you want to, oh, SmackDown, oh, Raw, oh, NXT, just same umbrella. It's all WWE. She's been with WWE since, what, 2014, 2015? Fast forward all the way to now. That is a person that has had opportunities after opportunities after opportunities after opportunities, and definitely good in the ring. But the one area where I always felt that needed improving was connecting with the crowd. I always felt that was her one vice, connecting with the crowd, really getting over with the crowd, as far as the crowd really having that connection to her persona. You know, okay, we got the whole gimmick down as far as your appearance goes. Okay, you got the red eyes, I guess you're a Little Red Riding Hood or something. You got the whole wolf thing going on, and you know, okay, wolf vampire thingamajigga. Okay, cool. But like the promos, it just never really, you know. And I'll go a step further. I never really got her gimmick. That's something that I never. Okay, you look kind of cool, right? Hey, you did the whole Hot Topic thing, and okay, cool. In-ring stuff, no problem. It's just the character development I always felt really needed flushing out. And sadly, the character gimmick never, in all those years that she's been with WWE, she never did. You just can't help but wonder, you know, like you see what was going on with Becky Lynch before she had that infamous moment where the man was born. Amber Moon never really got a similar moment to that, to really, okay, you broke it. Now you're over with the... She never really got that. And I tell you what, not for nothing, but I thought things were starting to look a bit promising when Amber Moon was paired up with Shotzi Blackheart down there in NXT. I was really, really enjoying them as a tag team. You know, I really was starting to feel that, okay, all right, Amber's kind of, all right, maybe, all right, she's showing me a little something here. Personality-wise, you know, she's showing me a little something. Then they pretty much had pulled Shotzi, and Amber pretty much was left in the wind. And they really have not done anything with Amber Moon since then. So this release, you know, it actually kind of sucks, because that's the saddest part about this whole story in regards to Amber Moon, is the fact that she was really busting her ass. She was really, really trying. I'll tell you what was a blessing for her in disguise was when she had that injury that came about. And it was one of those type of injuries where I definitely continued to knock on wood for her and hope that she was going to come back 100% healthy and everything. And sure enough, she did. But, you know, even after that, it's like, okay, do we really need to see her on the main shows? You know, because it just seemed like she was staggering there. And then we see her pop up in NXT, on NXT. And she was doing all right. She was doing all right down there. That last go round when she was in NXT, she faced Io Shirai for the NXT championship there. Candice LeRae was involved in there as well. And then the NXT tag team championship there, where Moon and Blackheart, they had challenged Dakota Kai and Gonzalez for those tag titles, successfully defeating them to win the titles, then take over, stand and deliver. retaining the titles against the Ways, Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. And then when they ultimately dropped the tag titles to the Way and a street fight, you know, their reign was very short. Their reign only lasted damn near 2 months. I didn't quite understand that. I honestly have felt that their tag reign was just scratching the surface, that they should have gone much longer there. And then Takeover in Your House, Moon had challenged Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Championship unsuccessfully. Pretty much after that, nothing really came about with Amber Moon. If you remember NXT TakeOver in Your House, shout out to you, because the month of that was June 13th of this year. And pretty much Amber Moon has not done anything since then. It's not like this is a case where, oh, she's out on injury or, you know, nothing like that whatsoever. We haven't seen her since about that period. Kind of weird, right? Yeah, very, very, very weird. Actually, you know what? Let me back up a second. That was in June. However, she did do something pretty much once a month past that. So take August, for instance. There was an episode of NXT where she lost to Kaylee Ray. And then like a month later, like late September, she had a match against Cora Jade. The last time she did anything on WWE programming, it was on NXT 2.0. You guys may not remember this. It's okay. But she actually did pop up on the new NXT. She lost to Mandy Rose. And that pretty much was all she wrote. Amber's going to be okay. I think Amber is going to be just fine. She seems like somebody that honestly, she's going to continue. She's going to continue on in wrestling. She's actually another one as far as plug and play. She's another one that honestly, when it comes to Shimmer, I can see her just on a regular doing something with them. WSU, I could see her doing something with them on a regular. Hell, I could even see her make special appearances for Booker T's ROW promotion, actually. So that is another one that you can pretty much plug and play. I can see definitely plug and play for her. Now, these next two names, I can just pretty much go through these names real quick. By the way, if you guys are doing all right, you enjoying this special edition so far, please help me put more eyeballs on this particular episode. You could do so by hitting that like button. When you hit that like button, it really helps put more eyeballs on our content, helps build our community as well. And it's free. That's the best part. It's free. Doesn't cost you guys a damn thing. Some people think, I'm just going to hit the dislike button. The dislikes actually help us as well, as YouTube particularly looks at all the engagement. So feel free to subscribe as well. You know, when you subscribe, whenever I'm live and you subscribe while I'm live, your name pops up on the screen. You get a nice little sound effect, and you definitely get a shout out. See, we've been picking up a couple of subs. Appreciate that. These next two names, we can pretty much rock and roll through these names. Lucha House Party's Grand Metalik and Lindsay Dorado. Yeah. You know, you gotta forgive me. I don't really have anything to say in regards to these names. If anything, the thing that kind of surprises me the most, I would say, look, you're not doing the freaking, what was that tournament that they had going on? Oh, I can't remember the tournament. That Cruiserweight, that CWC tournament. It's like, okay, that's, for all intents and purposes, seems like you guys are pretty much done with that. Okay, cool. And then 205 Live, 205 Live, whoopee. It's like, I didn't mean to say it like that, but, it's like, Well, if it ain't 205 Live, yeah. Believe it or not, 205 Live is still ongoing for all intents and purposes. It's still going. I know you guys don't watch 205 Live, but 205 Live is still going. That is just crazy. Much like you find out Main Event is still doing its thing. You're like, what the fuck? Yeah, crazy. But Lindsay Dorado and Grand Metalik, look, they're going to be fine. Long before they even were doing their thing with the WWE, they were doing stuff pretty much in their home country. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they're going to go back to doing. AAA, whole 9 yards, do some stuff with Conan. I wouldn't be surprised. So, yeah, those two names. So we went through those two names real fast, didn't we? Here's a name that's pretty shocking. Brianna Brandy, a.k.a. B-Fab of the stable Hit Row. Hit Row had just appeared on the main roster. Man, I don't even think it's been 3 weeks. Hit Row been doing their thing for less than 3 weeks on SmackDown. And B-Fab has been shown the door. Yo, my mind is just, seriously, I am just, can I be 100 with you guys for a second? There are some talents I'm looking at, and the last thing I want to do is bring up names, because I know some of these wrestlers be making their rounds, and they be seeing what certain podcasts have to say about them and everything, and heaven forbid you say something that's real salty, next thing you know, you end up finding out they heard what you had said because they block your ass or some other shit. But let me say it just like this, and I think you guys will be able to read in between the lines. You look at some folks and you just go, hey, you all right. Okay, yeah, I like you. You all right. Let's see what you can keep doing over here. And then there's some people you just go, why is this person continuing to get opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity when they aren't showing any significant development? They aren't really showing evolution here. I look at B-Fab, very promising, I personally felt. Look, no bullshit. Was she good ass looking hot eye candy? Yeah, definitely. I still remember the one match that B-Fab had. Shout out if you remember it too. I remember the one match that she had. It was against, God, I almost was about to say Carmen Electra, but isn't it like Carmen Lopez or something like that with Legado del Fantasma? She had that one. Actually, no. That was her second match. There was another match that she did right before that one. But, man, B-Fab pretty much was down there in WWE since 2019. Yeah. This one is a head scratcher. This one is a head scratcher here. She only did a couple of little spots here and there for NXT. Briefly there, she teamed with Tanara, tag team match against Catalina, Garcia, and Rita Reyes. She had her first singles match during 2020. She lost against Kaden Carter. She wrestled a couple of live events right before the shutdown, the whole pandemic shutdown had came about. And then during the summer of this year, she resurfaced under the new name B-Fab and was doing her thing there with Hit Row for a hot minute. I remember there was one match she had before that Carmen Lopez chick from Legado del Fantasma which was actually for what it was worth, they had like about 5 minutes of a match, and for what it was worth, it looked promising. It actually had looked promising, and she pretty much is now gone. Head scratching. This is a head scratching one right here for me. I gotta be totally honest with you. I didn't really see this coming out of nowhere. This could honestly, no bullshit, this could honestly be a case right here where maybe the progression of her development just was not going at the pace that certain powers that be felt was adequate. This might have been a case right here. Okay, let's call all these guys up. But then it was, okay, individually, for all we know, individually, it might have just been, okay, what's going on with this person? What's the pros? What's the cons? Where do we see them going development-wise? Okay, and how long have we had them now? Okay, right. And it could honestly be a case right here where, I'm not trying to justify. You're talking to somebody that was a big fan of B-Fabs. Look, I'll jump out there. Those of you that watch NXT 2.0, what's that girl that does that lashing out segment or whatever? That segment is the drizzling fucking shits. I've seen a little bit of that girl's in-ring work. Give me B-Fab 24/7 over that whole lashing whatever the hell that segment is. Give me B-Fab any day of the week. This was just, look, if B-Fab is interested in continuing to wrestle, I think she'll be all right. I think she'll be all right. I honestly, I think where B-Fab should go, if it were up to me, if I could somehow just get in her ear and just, no bullshit, I think B-Fab would be a really good fit over at WOW Women of Wrestling. I think that's the place where she needs to be. You got an excellent trainer down there in Selena Majors. You also got Tessa Blanchard, who right up there with Selena Majors as far as, training of the women. Let's not also forget Tessa Blanchard has her own respected school as well and everything. So I think B-Fab, if she's really serious about continuing on as a pro wrestler and really honing her craft, she definitely should consider trying to get in touch with David McLean, Jeannie Buss, Tessa Blanchard, Selena Majors. Go to WOW. I think she would really, really do wonders in WOW. So, but I think she's going to be all right. That's if she even wants to continue pursuing pro wrestling, honestly. But I think she's going to be just fine. Oni Lorcan Released. 35-year-old Oni Lorcan. Man. Another journeyman right here, man. CCW, Evolve, PWG. Jesus Christ. I mean, I fucking love Oni Lorcan. Oni Lorcan's badass. WXW. Shit. Dragon Gate. I mean, look, might not have much as far as the personality goes, but fucking straight up in your face. Man, I love his smash thrash style of wrestling. I love his brawl style. Seriously, I love his shit. I'm not just saying that. I love his shit. This actually surprised the hell out of me. I gotta say, surprised the hell out of me. Yeah. Danny Birch. Yeah, I remember when they were tearing it up there in NXT with Danny Birch. They actually were. They were okay. Now, I think, is Danny Birch still in WWE, y'all? I'm trying to think if he's... No, wait a minute. Yeah. I know he left the first go-round, and then he came back to WWE. Yeah. Danny Birch is still in WWE. So... wonder what's going to happen with Danny Birch now, because honestly, Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? Would not be surprised if there's going to be some more names that's going to be coming down the pipeline as far as get your ass on the bus. Would not be surprised if there's going to be a couple more names added there. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for Danny Birch. I'm knocking on wood for him, but I mean, if Oni got shown the door, who's to say Danny might not be that far behind? So I mean, we shall wait and see. But Oni Lorcan, man, I'm just thinking about all the stuff that he was doing down there and in NXT, because he pretty much has been down there since, God, what, like 2015, 16? He pretty much has been down there in NXT, mainly NXT and the UK brands. You know, I find it rather interesting that we just couldn't do something with Oni for the NXT UK division, but I don't even know if that was even an option or not. But Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic tournament joint, you know, they did pretty damn good in that. They ultimately were eliminated by Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne. Then you had the match there with the Undisputed Era's Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong at NXT TakeOver Chicago. Didn't he challenge for the Cruiserweight Championship, Oni Lorcan? I think he did challenge for it at WrestleMania 35. I think there was some type of a Cruiserweight Championship tournament. He beat Humberto Carrillo in the opening round, but he lost to Cedric Alexander in the second round. Was doing some stuff on 205 Live. You know, kept bouncing around there between NXT, NXT UK. You know, yeah. Had some injuries along the way too. Some stuff involving the eye and some other stuff, but always seemed always seemed to come back better than ever. This guy's he's gonna be all right. I'm not really tripping over Oni Lorcan. That guy's gonna be all right. I don't believe we've seen the last of him. That's another guy you could pretty much plug and play. You can pretty much put him anywhere. You know, you need a really good utility player. You know, here's your guy right here. You can plug and play him anywhere. So I haven't seen the last of him. I'm not tripping over him. Blake Christian, otherwise known as Trey Baxter. Man, this is a guy that we saw recently on a handful of episodes of NXT 2.0. And already he has been eliminated. Damn. Still relatively early in his career. This guy has been at it, I think, since maybe 2016, as far as being a pro wrestler goes. So he's still pretty green and everything. Look, I'll be honest with you. There are some wrestlers, as we've seen in this day and age, 2021 and beyond, it's not so much about having the right kind of look, because we've seen big people, we've seen skinny people, we've seen tall people, we've seen short people, we've seen midgets, we've seen, right? So it's not so much about the look, but ultimately about how well you're able to check off all the boxes. And in the case of Trey Baxter / Blake Christian, he doesn't have all the boxes checked off just yet. I would not be surprised if this was, of all the names, and there's a few that I'm looking at and I'm going, yeah, you're probably going to be coming back to the WWE at some point. Baxter is one I'm looking at where I'm saying, you know what, go get a little bit more seasoning. Go back out there on the independents a little bit more and maybe try again in a couple of years. I don't think we've seen or heard the last of him and his involvement in WWE. But for what it's worth right now, just kind of based on what I'm seeing here, yeah, get a little bit more. Get a little bit more seasoning there. They tried. WWE did try. I will give them that. They tried. They tried having him do some stuff with Joe Gacy, Odyssey Jones, Kushida. You know, they did a little something. And look, not for nothing, he looked kind of promising. He did, but you know, there's just some folks you just go, come back in a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, next up, Jessie Kamiya. Jessie Kamiya. She was released. 33-year-old Jessie Kamiya, trained by Sarah Del Rey, too. So she pretty much has been down there in WWE since 2017. She's been down there, part of their NXT division and everything. She's done a lot of stuff off and on, here and there. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine on this one. Honestly, I've seen enough of her stuff. She honestly, that's another one. Just like with Baxter, that's another one. Go get some more seasoning. Go be a journeyman for a little bit. Come on back. That's another one that I'm honestly looking at. But she kind of comes off to me as a wild card. I'm not really sure if, you know, there's just certain people you just look at, you follow their body of work, and you just go, you know what, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, I'm not quite sure about that one. I'm really not quite sure. Katrina Cortez, a.k.a. Catalina Garcia, 25 years old, from Chile. In 2015, she's pretty much been at it. She hooked up with the WWE in 2019. Had some sporadic appearances on Raw, main event. Pretty much was doing her thing. Really? Did some NXT house shows in the 2 years that she was part of the NXT division. Was also a Mae Young contestant. Really not doing that much, honestly. Right down to the point, and let me just make sure that I'm not blowing this out of proportion for you guys. I mean, a little bit of stuff that I saw of her in-ring work, you know, it was okay. You know, it was okay, but yeah, I'm looking at her match history here. Yeah, this was pretty much for her 205 Live, one appearance on NXT 2.0. That was the match I was thinking of. Yeah, that was it. B-Fab beat her ass in about 60 seconds. But yeah, 205 Live. I'm looking at her history here, and it looked like she was really doing one match a month. I bullshit you not. You're more than welcome to look at this yourself, but she pretty much was doing one match a month. Like, what the fuck? You know, what are you supposed to do with that? And then if she wasn't doing that, she pretty much was doing some house shows. So, honestly, you know, why are you continuing to waste money? I mean, really think about this, all right? Because you're also got to think from a business standpoint. Why are you continuing to waste money when the person's only doing something once a month? That's money that could be better spent in another department or whatever, right? I'm sure you guys would definitely agree with that. Let's see. Zeta Ramir. Cute little thing. I actually liked Ramir. Ramir reminded me a lot of Tasha Steelz. She reminded me a lot of Tasha Steelz. And that's another one that has been trained by Booker T from his Reality of Wrestling promotion. She's another one that just same deal as the other girl I mentioned. Same kind of deal here, sporadically, here and there. I don't. And see, here's the thing. When I really haven't been watching enough of, I just got to go off my gut instincts here and just a little bit that I did see. You know, it's the same kind of deal, though. You know, here's an individual that pretty much wrestles once a month. Last time we saw anything involving Ramir, you got to go back to NXT June of this year, where the Ways, Candice LeRae, and Indy Hartwell defeated Ramir and Zoe Stark. You know, but here's another case right here where, I mean, really stop and think about this. We're talking about somebody that's been with the WWE for a couple of years now, and all they pretty much are doing is one match a month. You know, it's kind of another one of those type of deals where, wait, why are we? Jet Rama had signed on to the WWE going back to 2015. Just sporadic stuff here and there. Sporadic stuff, some singles matches here and there, some tag team matches here and there. Name doesn't ring a bell. I'm actually trying to see if I can get a image here. Oh, this dude. Wow, no wonder I've never fucking seen this guy before in my life. He almost looks like Sean Davari, but with hair on top of his head. All right, let me see if I can find some matches real quick here. Give me a second here, guys. Jet Rama. All right, let's see what we got here. Solo Sikoa defeated him. Oh, wow, that was on this week's NXT. Okay. I think I fast forward that one. That's probably why I don't remember that one. 205 Live. Okay. House shows. No wonder. Okay. So pretty much this guy screams house shows. And the one time that he was actually on TV, bear with me a second here. Wow. His entire run under WWE is reeking of house shows. It's still house shows. Still house shows, yo. Still house shows. God damn, dude. How many house shows did you do? Shit. Wow. Since 2015, like out of 100%, your man has been doing 99.9% house shows. And the one time he did not do house shows, you got to go to 205. Looks like he did a couple of 205 shows here. Looks like he had a match against Boa, then Zion Quinn, then Boa. Looks like AJ Styles beat him up at the WWE Superstar Spectacle TV show. And then NXT 2.0, where he lost to Solo Sikoa. So, yeah. Forgive me if I don't give two shits not about that name. Don't worry, I ain't forget the heavy hitting names. We still got some heavy hitting names I'm sitting on right here. Here's a name that I don't think most people are gonna really be spending enough time talking about. This one actually took me by surprise because I did not see this person being released. I did not. Davey Boy Smith Jr., Harry Francis Smith. Believe it or not, this guy was signed to the WWE. So that may take a lot of you guys by surprise. But he actually was signed with the WWE. Everything pretty much goes... And let's remember something here. This was essentially, if you kind of want to get technical, this was essentially his second rodeo with the WWE, because remember, he was doing stuff with them going back to the mid 2000s, and remember the Hart Dynasty and all of that. And he had pretty much been on the independent since the late 2000s, like 2010, 2011, doing this thing in New Japan, Pro Wrestling Noah, MLW. That's where I got to see a big bulk of his work on a regular basis. He actually returned to the WWE in 2020. He did an episode of what was their TV show? The Bump. He was on The Bump, and he talked about basically how his father, the British Bulldog, was going to be going into the WWE Hall of Fame for that respected year coming up, the 2020 Hall of Fame class. And as you all know, it got postponed because of COVID and everything. And you go to April of this year, where he and his family, they pretty much were representing their father for the Hall of Fame ceremony, accepting the award and all that. He only had one match that I can recall. He only had one match. It was a dark match. And that was like earlier this year, only one match. And afterwards, yeah, he was released. So I know some of you guys are hearing that and you're probably going, wait a minute. So when the fuck did he sign this contract with WWE? I would imagine he signed it right about that time when he did The Bump, for all I know. But 36 years old. When I've seen him, he's been in phenomenal shape, solid as good matches. I mean, really looking more and more like his dad. Seriously, it's fucking eerie. It's fucking eerie. Looking more and more like his dad. Yeah, he did a match with, I'm looking at it right here for those of you that might be a little bit curious. Looks like it was against Odyssey Jones and Zion Quinn. Hang on here. Yeah, he teamed with Austin Theory, and they took on Odyssey Jones and Zion Quinn. And, before that, as some of you guys know, he was kind of dealing with a little bit of an injury. But, yeah, one match, and that pretty much is it. Your guess is as good as mine what was going on there, because Davey Boy Smith Jr. is fucking solid. That dude is fucking solid. If there is ever a guy, I'm not exaggerating when I say this. Hopefully some of you guys have been checking out his work. But you want to talk about a guy, okay, let's put him in there with Randy Orton. Okay, let's put him in there against AJ Styles. All right, let's see him lock it up there with Sami Zayn. Or, okay, let's have him do some stuff with Cesaro. He was that damn good. He is that damn good, as far as I'm concerned. When you still had Daniel Bryan in play in the WWE, like, oh my God. Fucking clinic, man. They would have been tearing it up. He's that damn good. So, your guess is as good as mine on this one. Could it have been budget cuts for this particular? Could be. Could also be a case where creatively they just... That's kind of crazy to hear though, right? It's like you can't do anything with the son of the British Bulldog. Yo, I'll be real with you. If you can't do anything with the son of the British Bulldog, as far as I'm concerned, your ass don't really need to be in business. How about that? Seriously, how about that? That's where I stand. That's where I stand. I would not be surprised if MLW, if he were to go back to MLW, I think he would actually be all right in Impact as well. I think he would actually be pretty damn good in Impact. He would be a welcome breath of fresh air in the NWA. AEW, nah. Not seeing it. I could even see him in New Japan. I'm saving two names on purpose for last. I will will do this, though. I will read to you guys some of the comments that came about from the folks that we've gone over so far that's been released by their contract. Some of them actually took to social media and had some things to say. Mia Yim, she tweeted out, 90 days. Let's get to work. Booking inquiries. No interviews, please. j@jnmgmt.com. So she's not doing any interviews right now. 90 days, okay. Non-compete clause, basically. Frankie Monet, she said, once I've gathered myself from feeling all levels of disappointment, sadness, anger, and also uncontrollable laughter, I'll have a statement. But for now, 30 days, #we are loca, TayaValkyrie@gmail.com. Now, you know, we got to give her the award for, because it really was, because she put out a tweet right before her release. You guys can actually go back and you can see this on her freaking timeline. And she actually, let me see if I can pull it up here at my end here. Shit, I ain't got it no more. I don't have it anymore. I deleted it. But she was talking about how there was somebody in NXT that she wanted to face. She was like, give me her. And then when her release came about an hour later, she pretty much retweeted that last tweet, and she added, well, and ... and it was like the hand shrug emoji. And you're just like, whoa. So obviously it pretty much had took her completely left field, right? Completely left field. Oni Lorcan, it looks like he reacted to the news. Let me see what's going on here. First of all, how long is this? So it looks like Oni Lorcan had some stuff to say for about 53 seconds. Should we go ahead and let this play? I guess we can go ahead and let this play, right? Let's go ahead and let's let this play. Let's see here. Hopefully we don't have to sit through an ad. Let's see here. Okay. He didn't even monetize it. It just goes right to him. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's let this play. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Today I have officially been released from my WWE contract. I had a great 6 years with WWE. I'm going to look back on that time very fondly. I met some great people. I had some great experiences. It was definitely a cool chapter in life. Going forward though, I'm very excited for the future. I have a 90-day no-compete clause in my WWE contract, so that brings me to about the first week of February, where I'll be able to work anywhere in the world. So I'm very excited for the future. I just want to say thank you to all the WWE fans for sticking with me, and I hope going forward you'll continue to follow me and stick with me, and I'm very excited for the future. Biff rule.
Damn. You know, this bullshit with 30 days, 90 days. I don't know about you guys, but I'm like this. Yo, the holidays are right around the corner. We got Thanksgiving right around the corner. We got Christmas, New Year's. Yo, man, look, let's just let these men and women go. The hell with the fact that they're going to be popping up on TV somewhere else the next night or two. The hell with that. It's 2021. Like, the hell with that, right? You're making your money, right? Let them go do their thing. Let them go make their fucking money, right? The hell, you could tell me, but they're being paid during this time because I ain't trying to hear all that. Let them go do their fucking thing. Let's see. So that's about it for now as far as that goes. Don't worry. We still got 3 more names we need to talk about. Let's go to this next one here. 37-year-old Nia Jax. Nia Jax. She's not like most girls Because she just got released by WWE today. What is she to do? She's not like most girls. She got released. Wow. Is all I have to say. I gotta be honest with you. This is probably gonna surprise a lot of people. And I'm probably gonna be on the rare side of the line here where I'm very surprised that Nia Jax was released. I legit am. Look, Nia Jax, and I know there's going to be a lot of other shows, they are not going to be kind to Nia Jax. I can just imagine motherfuckers are going to be bouncing up and down around a bonfire, and they're going to be celebrating the fact that Nia Jax has finally been released by the WWE. And when you pick their brain as far as why are you so happy, like, first of all, why are you even happy that somebody got essentially fired from a company? Have you no shame? And these people are going to be like, no, I don't. I'm happy that you know what is gone. And when you pick their brain a little bit more as far as what do you got against Nia Jax, I would not be surprised if you have those that feel, well, she's always injuring a motherfucker. Every time you turn around, she's always injuring somebody, and she's sloppy. She's not safe, and all very valid points. So why am I on the side that is saying, you know, I'm a little surprised Nia Jax was let go? Let's go a step further. If you were to say to me straight up, Lee, you're WWE, would you release Nia Jax? No. Would you have released Nia Jax, Lee? No. Lee, are you crazy? No. Lee, what about all the fucking things that we just talked about? You know, she's unsafe. She's this, she's that, she's this, she's that. I see potential. I had always saw potential in Nia Jax, and don't get it wrong, folks. Over the years, yes, I've seen exactly some of the same things that you had saw. I can remember being on this show a couple of times over the years and just saying, man, whoever is in charge of these women's matches, somebody needs to do the right thing. Pull Nia Jax to the side if they haven't done so already, and really school her. Really freaking school her. I remember when the crap hat went down with her leg injury, I remember saying, okay, well, you know what? Hopefully, you know, with this injury, it makes her smarten up a little bit. And honestly, you can't have all of that weight that you're packing and think you're going to be able to continue to do that style of wrestling that she likes to do, not without consequences. And her legs pretty much had paid the price for that type of style that she was doing. Remember, you know, Nia Jax wasn't your typical, I'm just going to do a punch, 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 punch. I'm going to do a leg boot. And then I'm just going to follow up, and I'm just going to do a body splash on you like the Ultimate Warrior and get the 1, 2, 3. No, I mean, she was doing a lot more shit than that, and that is very taxing on the legs. Very, very taxing on the legs. Because when you really stop and you really think about it, I apologize for those of you that's only going to be listening to the audio version of this, but, you know, I'm holding my phone in my hand here. Let's just say this is your body, okay? Let's just say this is your body, right? And you somehow pick up additional weight. So I'm going to take this Deer Park water bottle, okay? So you've gotten that big, you've gotten that wide, right? And then look how I add this pen right up under the phone and the bottled water here. Let's just say that this pen is your legs, okay? So you're putting a lot. That's a lot. When you got all that upper body weight and you got those legs and you're trying to, that's a lot. That's a lot. And for the style of wrestling that she was doing, for me, I always felt that if Nia could, now I wasn't saying at all Nia needed to be a bony ass. I wasn't saying that at all. I remember I was being very respectful. I got no problem with the big girls. Lee loves the big girls, okay? And I think, look, not for nothing, I think Nia Jax is one sexy woman. I really, really do. She's got a beautiful face. I love everything about her. She's cool. But I remember when her injury had first went down, I was like, Nia, if there's a way she could maybe try losing about 20, possibly 30 pounds, that would probably do her legs some wonders and everything. And for all the criticism that Nia Jax has received over the years, I've always felt and have said vocally on the shows that homegirl, when it counted the most, she could freaking go out there and she could deliver some pretty damn good matches that just has you go, wait a minute. Damn, I didn't know Nia Jax was actually capable of that. Okay, go ahead, Nia. That's pretty damn good. Okay, all right now. And remember, one of the last times that we saw Nia Jax on television, Shayna Baszler, Shayna Baszler had beat that ass. I mean, just messed her up and everything. That goes back on the September 20th episode of Raw. But you look at some of the matches that Nia Jax had with Charlotte Flair. Another match that comes to mind, not for nothing, but the whole tag team thing. For me, that whole tag team thing with Shayna Baszler, it never really, it was good at the very beginning. But then once it got, what's the right word? Once it stagnant? Is that the word maybe I'm thinking of? Not stale, but it's like, okay, we're just going here, but where are we really going? I mean, obviously we're in motion, but where are we really going here? It was kind of like that, and it was just in regards to that. But yeah, it was a decent amount of months there that Shayna and Nia were a tag team together. But I'm looking at her match history as we speak. Nia Jax. I'm looking at her match history as we speak. Oh yeah, the stuff with Asuka, that was actually pretty good. The stuff with Asuka. What else here? Give me a second here, because I want to look at something else here. So that was all of give me a second here. Let me go back to this period. NXT, yeah, her stuff in NXT was actually pretty good. You guys remember when Nia Jax had faced Blue Pants? Shout out if you remember who Blue Pants was. Oh, fun times right there. Let's see. Yeah, I don't really remember anything else. I'm actually looking at her NXT history since I'm here, so that's why I'm kind of a little bit silent here. Yeah, Sasha Banks. Yeah, that was actually pretty good. Yeah, all the matches with, and then with Alexa Bliss, that was actually pretty good too. Yeah, matter of fact, now that I'm thinking about it, Alexa Bliss, wasn't that during the period where Alexa Bliss was the heel? And Alexa Bliss was doing the, hopefully I don't have my girls mixed up, but was that around that period where, Alexa Bliss was essentially fat shaming Nia Jax? I kind of feel like maybe it was around that period. Or was it the other way around? There was something going on there. I could have sworn it involved Nia Jax. My memory's a little bit fuzzy now that I'm thinking about it here. For me, I'm just looking here. I don't already went through 2017. My point, she's only had a handful of, like, for example, TLC, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs, when she had took on Ronda Rousey. Everything you need to know about Nia Jax, her truest potential, and just everything. When she can just string everything together, be on point, everything you need to know right there. is in that match that she had with Ronda Rousey. And I remember when we did the TLC post show that night. Don't believe me, go back and check it out. TLC post show from 2018. I remember giving Nia Jax a lot of praise for that matchup. A lot of praise for that matchup. You know, it just always kind of felt, though, that when Nia Jax was having those weeks where she was a little bit sloppy, coming off a bit unsafe, and then some of the shit that she would say on social media, rather than really man up and take accountability and say to folks, hey, I hear you guys. I can only imagine how you guys are seeing it at your end when you're watching it on television. And, look, I'm definitely doing my best, to try to get better and better in the ring, every single. Nah, man, she would just be posting up GIFs, just making light of this shit. She reminded me of that person that essentially, you know what, I give two fucks not. You're not going to tell me what to do, and that's kind of dangerous when you got somebody that kind of has that mentality and the way that they are conducting themselves on social media, almost acting as if they're untouchable. So for me, despite all of those things, I did feel that Nia was starting to come around a little bit. I thought that she was starting to get better. She was definitely working a bit safer within reason. Within reason. I still saw a little bit of sloppiness here and there. I'll definitely admit that. But I still felt that as far as what I was saying earlier, checking off all the boxes, I felt that a woman like Nia Jax was definitely checking off all the boxes, at least in my book. So for her to get released, I must say I'm very, very surprised. I definitely don't think that in the case of Nia Jax, budget cut. I do not feel that's a budget cut. You think about the fact that WWE, they've got these house shows that's going on. WrestleMania's around the corner. That's going to be another 2-night event and everything. They already announced some of the pay-per-views that's going to be happening in 2022 for WWE. That's kind of one of those. I agree with Lee Strack, LS in there in the chat. He's saying it smells fishy. I agree. It definitely smells fishy. I can't help but wonder if this was maybe some type of a political move. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of got this weird vibe that there's a lot more that's at play. Of all the names we don't gone over on this show tonight, Nia Jax, I feel that there's a lot more that's at play. I really, really do. I still remember that period of time when Keith Lee and a few others got called down to the Performance Center, supposedly because Vince McMahon felt that some of these cats needed to work on their shit. And I think that went down right at about the time when something happened with Nia Jax in a match, and the community was like, so wait a minute, you had these guys go back to the Performance Center, but not Nia Jax. What the fuck is up with that? So, in the case of Nia Jax, I hate to speculate. You guys know I don't like speculating. I don't. And the last thing I want to do here tonight is speculate. I could maybe put some feelers out and get in touch with my contacts and see, what they might be hearing, what the chatter around the water cooler is in regards to some of these people. Nia Jax for sure. If you were to maybe, again, I don't like speculating, but if you were to have me go, what's your gut instinct telling you? My gut instinct kind of feels like this. I kind of feel as though not a case of creative. I don't feel it was a case of creative at all. but I'm kind of getting and I don't think all the stuff over the years, botches, and I don't even think it was like any of that was going on. I just personally feel that it ain't a budget cut either. I just wouldn't be surprised to hear in the coming days if Nia Jax may have started rubbing some people the wrong way. That's the only viable, you feel where I'm coming from? That's the only thing that kind of makes a little bit of sense to me. But like I said, let me reach out to some of my contacts. And look, if I don't hear anything, I'll definitely tell you guys on the next show. Hey, they ain't say nothing. But that's one of the beautiful parts about being connected to a few people that I'm connected to. I can get a little something from time to time. So let me poke around and see what's going on with that. But that's the only viable thing that makes sense, because normally everything I've heard about Nia Jax off and on over the years, I've heard she's funny, she's a sweetheart. So, I'm probably reaching for straws there. I don't know. That's a weird one though. It is definitely fishy. It's a fishy. But Nia Jax, and the fact that she's connected to the family. Think about that for a second. I mean, she's part of the Noah family. I mean, this is a family that is essentially fucking bulletproof. Fucking bulletproof. Roman Reigns is her cousin. The Usos is her cousin. The Rock, cousins. This is a family, like, if there's one family that is just untouchable, that has always been the fucking family. And the fact that Nia Jax is fucking, if you are of the main rosters, you just can't help but go, it ain't safe, yo. It ain't safe out here. Anybody. It's almost like watching an episode of The Walking Dead for an entire season. One of your favorite characters is going to get offed. You're just not sure who it is. But then when it goes down, like, even though you prepared yourself, you're going, holy shit. Because just the idea that they killed off this character. You knew they were going to kill off a major character, but you didn't think they were going to kill that character, at least not this soon. That's how it kind of feels with some of these releases. All right, we got 2 more names that we got to go through. Let's go. This one is pretty much, they're both hand in hand, but we'll go with this name first, and we'll have a little something to say about the next person. Karrion Kross, released by WWE. Yo. Fucking stupid. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Remember that? I said that earlier in the show. Karrion Kross had the perfect gimmick down in NXT. The perfect packaging. Everything was just right there on the silver platter. The way everything, just the overall presentation of Karrion Kross. Money. Everything just screamed money. And yet, we take everything that worked extremely well for Karrion Kross, we put him on the main roster, and we just go 180 on the brother. Now look, I give Karrion Kross a lot of freaking props because he tried to be as transparent as possible on social media and say, hey, look, this is a work in progress. I got to stay the course right now. Eventually a lot of the cool things that you guys have come to know and love, the things that you guys are expecting, we're eventually going to get there. But right now we're doing this in phases, and, we just got this fill out period. You just got to bear with me. We just got to stay this course right now, but you guys are going to see things are going to, and you're like, okay, all right. Hey, he's inside. He knows more than what we're talking about, and we're on the outside. Okay, if he's saying, hey, just stay the course, okay, cool. You know, the minute that we saw this brother lose to Jeff Hardy, I got to admit to you guys, that for me just made me go, yeah, this ain't off to a good start. I got a bad feeling about this. That's literally how I felt. I felt, well, if they're going to be doing this, Lord only knows what's going to be happening in the weeks to come. And sure enough, you know, we had him come out with these, you know, big ass suspenders. You know, I mean, it was extremely loose. It was not, you know, nice and tight on his body and everything. This big ass fucking mask over his head. Now, granted, he did wear a mask and have a similar getup like that down in NXT, but it seemed back when it was in NXT, it seemed to fit him a lot better and all of that good stuff. But then it was just, again, a full 180 when we saw him on Monday Night Raw. And just a lot of the things that was good about him just out the door. Just completely out the door. You had that really great feud he had going on with Samoa Joe right before he lost the NXT Championship. And if there was ever, okay, you know, we're going to fucking build off of this. And that's probably been one of the nagging things about some of your favorite call-ups from NXT when they go to the main roster. You expect, and I don't understand for the love of me, maybe somebody can explain this to me a little better, but it makes no sense to me why WWE, as much as they inspire or aspire, whatever you want to use, to try to be Disney, to try to be fill in the blank. Okay, you want to try to be like these other companies. Why don't you pay a little bit more closer attention to what's going on, let's just say, with Marvel Studios? Even if you're not into the comic books, the one thing that all people will tell you that's checked out all the Marvel Studio movies, as far as storyline continuity goes and character development, Marvel Studios is fucking primo numero uno. And I can't understand for the love of me why WWE just can't follow a simple blueprint from Marvel Studios. Okay, so what do you guys, have that established line of communication with the guys down there in NXT and all that. Okay, so what have you guys have been doing with this character for the past year now? Okay, yeah, oh, okay, cool. Take those elements. Okay, this is going to be our canvas for this character when they're on the main roster. Okay, so we're going to take all of these good things. Do we really need to add anything else to this? Because if we are going to add some stuff to it, this could either hurt them or maybe we're actually making it better. And it just felt like here you had, without a shadow of a doubt, a Karrion Kross Triple H presentation and what they did collectively with Karrion Kross and NXT. You go over to Monday Night Raw, and it was just essentially, Vince McMahon, whoever the fuck you want to fucking pin the tail on the donkey on, somebody literally just got that and just said, I hate to go with a food analogy, but just picture Karrion Kross as that perfect slice of pizza, and he's got all your favorite toppings that's on it. And then by the time it pretty much leaves the pizza factory and, I don't know, it goes to your friend or whatever, your friend, being Vince McMahon and or Kevin Dunn, is basically going, let me just, ugh. And they're just picking all the toppings off, right? They eventually take the freaking cheese off, and all you got is a soggy ass crust. And they just decide, okay, we're going to rebuild this. And what they rebuilt was, I got to be honest, what they rebuilt in those several weeks was utter shit. It was utter shit. I liked the guy Karrion Kross, everything about Karrion Kross, but what was happening to him on the main roster was a disservice to him. And I really wish that, there are shows that also love them, Karrion Kross. And there were a lot of people that, honestly felt like, they can do no wrong with Karrion Kross. And, and it's like, yeah, but they are doing wrong with Karrion Kross. That's the thing. Let's call it for what it is. If we really mean well by somebody, whether they're our friend or not, if we really mean well and we're always holding ourselves as podcasters, vloggers, columnists, writers on telling it like it is, we got to tell it like it is. What they did with Karrion Kross on the main roster was utter fucking garbage. And then by the time they realize, oops, we messed this up pretty bad. We got to try and reintroduce this guy. We got to try and rebuild this guy. Okay, then we start seeing him go back to being the Karrion Kross that we all have known to come and love, particularly what we got from NXT. We started seeing that Karrion Kross essentially resurface. I remember saying right here on the show, weeks before the draft, when we were doing our own little mock draft and everything, I remember saying, okay, Karrion Kross needs a clean, fresh start. Being on Raw really was detrimental. Have him go to SmackDown, let him start fresh, let him go over there. You keep him on the red brand, he's going to get lost in the shuffle. I know that's a crazy thing to hear, isn't it? Especially considering it's a 3-hour show. It's a 3-hour show. You got plenty of time to kill, so let's leave him on there, right? But no, on the contrary, I felt no, let him really breathe, let him really develop, put him in a position where, no pressure, just let's figure out what works, what's not working. Man, they pulled that brother from NXT way too damn soon, as far as I was concerned. They pulled him way too soon. It was almost like looking at a nice, pretty ass car and just going, I want that. Okay, wouldn't you like a test drive first? Wouldn't you like to? No, I just want to go on ahead and just take that bad boy. I'm taking it out the lot right now. Here's the money. I mean, that's literally how the powers that be did Karrion Kross when they yoinked him from NXT and they pretty much had put him on, and why the crowd for the main roster shows were indifferent to Karrion Kross, right? Look at how you pretty much did him out of the gate. First impressions mean so much. And when you have that bad first impression, when you distribute that bad first impression on the fans, why should they even continue to be remotely interested? They did a disservice to him. It really would have been truly beneficial to him had they moved him over to the blue brand and let him just from there, let him develop from there. And, brother was good. His promos, everything. Look, you're talking to somebody that's been following the work of Karrion Kross, since Impact Wrestling. Since the Impact Wrestling is actually let me take it a step further. I actually remember a little bit of his stuff from Lucha Underground, actually. But Impact Wrestling, I remember big bulk of his work being down there, and I was loving it. And to think, let's not forget, Karrion Kross, you talk about some sacrifices there. He rolled the dice. He did a serious gamble. He wanted to get out of his Impact Wrestling contract, and rightfully so, because the shit that was going on there with Ed Nordholm, owner of Anthem Entertainment, owner of Impact Wrestling and everything, there was some serious money that was owed to Karrion Kross on the back end. some serious money that was owed to him. And for months upon months upon months, they were just duking this shit out. I mean, it was looking pretty damn ugly at one point. And then finally, the right thing had happened, and Karrion Kross, look, not for nothing. And I'm sure that if hindsight being 2020, and if he could do some things over again, I'm sure Karrion doesn't regret his decision to, no, you know what, I want to go on ahead. How was he supposed to know at the time when he was with Impact that all the stuff that he was doing, how was he supposed to know at the time for the contract that he initially signed on to and all of that? How was he supposed to know things were going to blow up the way that it had did? How was he supposed to know about that? Like, you just don't, And these opportunities that came knocking on the door and everything, it's like, yo, what's up? And he wanted to go pursue those opportunities. And as I always like to say, forward, always forward. And that's exactly what he did. Right before coming to WWE, he made his debut for MLW. He defeated Tom Lawler. I don't know if you guys had saw that match. If you didn't, go back and check it out. It was actually a pretty damn good matchup and everything. But yeah, I remember all of his stuff from back then. All of his stuff. Feuding with Petey Williams. Feuding with John Morrison. Hard to believe, but he was feuding with John Morrison over the Impact World Heavyweight Championship, and what a beautiful period it was back then. I was eating that shit up. Big time. Feuding with Eddie Edwards, their first blood match. A lot of good ass shit that he was doing. So to my point, the blueprint, it's always been there with Karrion Kross. The only thing a motherfucker has to do is just stick to that blueprint, and just, if you're going to add to it, make sure the shit you're adding to it is banging. But in the case of what was going on with WWE, like, let me put it to you this way. Everything that Karrion Kross was doing in Impact Wrestling, Lucha Underground, NXT, you could have taken all of that, put Karrion Kross, that same Karrion Kross, put him on MLW, put him on NWA, put him in New Japan, put him in AEW, he will thrive. He will thrive. WWE, what the fuck? Seriously, of all the names that were released, other than Keith Lee, this is another one where I'm just kind of scratching my head and I'm going, what the fuck? Seriously, what the fuck? Do I believe that Karrion Kross will maybe find himself back in the WWE one day? 36 years old. I would love to see him back in the WWE. I really, really would. I really, really would. I don't see it happening. And you know what? Look, I know Karrion Kross makes his rounds, checking out podcasts and all that, and I can't wait to hear what he has to say once he has, found that tranquility and all that. I can't wait to hear what he has to say about his release, looking back on it and everything. But I know he makes his rounds checking out podcasts and everything because he's a big fan of the wrestling podcast. If I could say anything to Karrion Kross, I would say, brother, keep moving forward. The foundations, you know your gimmick. You know its strengths, you know its weaknesses. Creatively, you pretty much have proven way before getting to the WWE, you know your shit. And I think if there is anything that's very imperative right now is continuing to have that creative freedom and, being able to do your thing. Yeah, it's good to get the constructive feedback, get some criticism and everything when it counts the most, but You be in control. No pun intended, because I'm getting ready to say something EC3 related, but you control your narrative when it's all said and done. Look, WWE, they had plenty of opportunities. They fumbled big time. You could say to me, Triple H may freaking hit the red button and try to see about getting Karrion Kross back and everything. And, my whole thing is just be done. Just wash them off. Just wash the funk of WWE off and just keep moving along. Just fucking keep moving along. I mean, hindsight being 2020 now, if they could fucking release Bray Wyatt, I mean, enough said. I mean, you talk about somebody that is just creatively a genius. Bray Wyatt. I mean, that dude has fucking Kevin Sullivan, James Mitchell. I mean, he's got a whole bunch of shit rolled up in one, and I mean that in the most positive way. If that guy could be released, enough said, right? Now, of course, that brings us to, and look, Kross is going to be all right. Kross is going to be all right. I'm not even worried about Kross. I don't even have to blink twice over Karrion Kross. That's a guy we're going to see plenty of. Now, look, I don't know if his residence is still in the Las Vegas, Nevada area, but I bring that up because I know a lot of times Impact Wrestling, they now like to do stuff out about in that area with some of the shows that they do. So I bring that up to say, I don't know. Second go round anything could happen. Considering what went down the last rodeo with Impact, I would make that be a last freaking desperate attempt. But definitely, I would say MLW. I mean, he did that one-time appearance, and just when we thought that maybe we were going to be seeing a lot more of Karrion Kross and MLW, look, off the break, I want to see Karrion Kross and Alex Hammerstone. I would love to see those two guys freaking lock it up. I think that would just be fucking epic. That would be fucking badass. So MLW really jumps out to my mind off the break. You can't say ROH anymore because ROH, they're possibly done for at least until second quarter of 2022. So I think they're done for now. They're definitely done for now, but supposedly they're saying April 2022. I doubt that. I think it's going to actually be a little bit longer than that, but we shall see. So that's why I'm not even going with them right now. MLW really screams to me. I mean, I can picture Karrion Kross locking it up with Hammerstone, Jacob Fatu, King Muertes, Eddie Edwards, Ross Von Erich, Marshall Von Erich, because them some big boys. Mads Kruger is another one whose work I've been enjoying. There's a whole lot of nice little matchups that you can do down there. Slice Boogie and Karrion Kross. I think that would be kind of interesting. Yeah, but there's a lot of cool things you could do with him in MLW. Even New Japan. I don't know if Kross is interested in going overseas, but I think he'd be extremely successful in New Japan as well. That could put some significant strain on his future marriage, though. So I don't really know if he's interested in pursuing something like that, or maybe trying to stay in the States. AEW, I don't know. That's another one of those. You feel where I'm coming from? See, the biggest problem that's going on right now with AEW is from this standpoint. I know a lot of fans, they like to do the whole bound, what is it, all elite, AEW bound. I know they like doing all that shit, but you can only fit but so many people. But so many people. And all the names that you currently have right now. Okay, how would you juggle a Keith Lee? How would you juggle a Karrion Kross? How would you juggle a Oni Lorcan? How would you juggle? You know, you already got enough star power as it is right now, and you can only get but so many stars on those 3 hours of TNT programming that you have each week. I mean, yeah, that's great that you have the 2 YouTube shows. That's great that you got that, but you know, really all eyeballs is on that TNT show for real, for real. So how are you going to go about fitting all of those respected people when there's some names that you struggle with right now and making sure that they're on TNT somewhat on a semi-weekly basis? So if it's already tricky as it is, you feel where I'm coming from? I mean, we can think about all of the nice, I mean, don't get me wrong. Karrion Kross, Malachi Black, that'd be fucking badass. Karrion Kross locking it up with Cody, that'd be pretty damn good, actually. Be pretty damn good. Hell, Karrion Kross and Jericho, or Karrion Kross, Hangman Page. I mean, you got some really, really damn good matchups that's in there. Karrion Kross, Darby Allin, Karrion Kross and Sting. I mean, there's some damn good combinations that you can do. There is. But what's the end goal here? Like, other than some really damn good matches, you know, are we going in with the mindset that Karrion Kross will definitely be a world heavyweight champion? Because I just don't feel that with some of these names that could possibly be popping up in AEW, you know, because there's some more names that's going to be popping up. I'm just not quite sure how some of these other names will factor into that. So as much as we can be here playing, you know, the Booker, you know, as far as the long haul, that's where it's a little bit murky right now because it's already overloaded as it is there. So MLW, New Japan, even NWA, GCW been picking up some steam. I don't know if they got that good Karrion Kross money, but if they got a extra suitcase or 2 or 3 of money, right? GCW, you know, you might be able to do something with them. I'll tell you another one that's been kind of doing a little something, some waves here and there that I'm going to try to research more and more. WXW as of late, they've been adding some more really badass names to their roster and everything for the shows that they've been doing and all that. But Kross, I'm not worried about. Like, seriously, I'm not worried about him. I've never been concerned about Karrion Kross. He's, when it's all said and done, I know in my heart of heart, this guy went above and beyond to make everything work. Everything that was being given to him in WWE, I know this guy went above and beyond to make shit work. And he did not fail. It's the other way around. This is a case right here where WWE ultimately failed him. Now, Scarlett Bordeaux, his soon-to-be wife, Karrion Kross's wife, that is Scarlett Bordeaux, she also was released. Look, I know a lot of people were saying, oh, where's Scarlett? Where's Scarlett? Where's Scarlett? Where's Scarlett? If Scarlett could have been with him at any time, she definitely would have. Look, I would imagine there was some personal stuff that was going on. And that's for her story to tell if she even wants to mention that story. Right? If she even wants to bring it up or whatever. But, you know, we didn't see her there for a significant period of time. We all had, including myself, as I spoke about it on the shows, we had some really cool ideas as far as, hey, we could do this, we could do that. Oh, just imagine if we went in this direction. You know what I'm saying? And nah. we never saw her on WWE television after they separated the two. Which left us scratching our heads, just going, what the hell is going on here? I know that part of it definitely was creative, but I also know that there was also some personal stuff that was going on as well. At least that's kind of what was being alluded to. At least there was some personal stuff that was going on. And again, we don't need to, because that's like speculation, really. That's for her story to tell and everything. But that's another one where you look at Scarlett Bordeaux. Gorgeous fucking woman. Gorgeous fucking woman. I loved everything that was being done with her in Impact Wrestling. Seriously. I loved how she was creatively booked in Impact. I thought it was smart. They would have her in these little segments where she would pop up, and there's usually some overweight guy that's just sweating profusely, and he's doing any and everything. Like, he's doing her bidding, right? And I'm just going, that's exactly how you do it. And you would get like these little teases of her, right? And they were just doing it like that week after week. These little vignettes, they were just doing it like that week after week after week. And then when you finally had got her in the ring, she was doing some more teasing and everything, to the point she had her own segment, and it was called The Smoke Show. And when she finally did make her in-ring debut, she beat that ass of Disco Inferno. She beat Disco Inferno's ass. Shortly after that, though, that's where things just kind of got a little bit comical. Those are the right words I want to use. It got a little bit comical, and she had got her release from her contract afterwards from Impact. But I just remember that little short period of time. I mean, what she was doing over there, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice... I'm trying to find the right words. I thought it was a nice combination of Terry Ronalds meets Sunny. If you guys remember those respected segments. So those were pretty badass, what she was doing. And not for nothing, but for what she was doing by Karrion Kross's side on NXT programming, I thought that was pretty badass, actually. When you really get right down to it, she pretty much was a female version of Paul Bearer. If you really kind of stop and think about it, because as I had always kind of alluded to, she pretty much was the power in keeping Karrion Kross on the right path to victory in storyline per se. Because look at what all happened as soon as Scarlett gets pulled from. And remember what I said? I always said that, all right, when you're ready to have her come back and pair her up with Karrion again, you could pretty much just let it be as simple as her saying, okay, so you went out there, you tried it on your own, and you see what the end results got you. Now you realize that, you never really were the one that truly, yield the power or welded the power. It was I. So are we going to go back to doing things my way, or are you going to keep running your head through the wall there and going ouchie, right? So I always thought that whenever those two would lock back up, that's when the fun ride was really going to begin. But, they got a nice, beautiful thing that they just kind of stumbled upon while they were in WWE. And I have a feeling that they definitely are going to continue that on no matter where they go. no matter where they go. So make no mistake about it, we have not seen the last of that pairing. They definitely got something pretty special there. And I tell you what, the fact that Karrion Kross is ultimately going to be able to go back to being called Killer Kross, fucking A is all I got to say. Fucking A. So those are all the releases. Let's see what some of you guys are saying in the chat here, because I'm curious what you guys have to say about some of these releases here. So let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. And we're getting ready to wrap it up. So as a matter of fact, let me see what's going on with my colleagues here. Give me a second here. Let's see here. Okay, I don't feel too bad. Okay, good. Give me a second, guys. I thought maybe we were doing like a little bit of a long-winded show, but no, I see some of my podcasting amigos. Some of them are still live and everything, so I don't feel bad. I do feel bad, though, that I said to my wife, I said, yeah, I should be done by 11. Because literally, she just picked me up from work right before we did the show. She picked me up from work. And I told her, I said, I'm tired, but we had some breaking news. I got a boatload of releases. She's like, what? I told her some of the people that got released, and she was like, okay. So I know she's sleeping now, so sadly, I'm going to have to try and catch up with her tomorrow. So I really hope you guys appreciate the fact that I did an impromptu show for you guys tonight, because I originally did not plan on doing this. I honestly, when I first saw the names, I just was like, and I actually was not going to talk about it more until Monday's show. But again, I hope you guys appreciate it. And if you do, you haven't done it yet, make sure you hit that like button. That's how you can honestly repay me. Hit that like button, especially since it's free, and hit that subscribe button. But definitely hit that like button. When you do that, it helps put more eyeballs on the product. Let's go through some of these chats here. I'm trying to figure out how I can look at these chats. Let's see here. Bear with me a second here. See, can I open this up? Okay, I can't do that. Okay, hang on, guys. I'm trying to look at the chats here. Let me go back here. Okay, let's see what we got here. There's no way I can read that. Hang on. All right, let me try something here. Hang on, guys. Let's see. Give me. I'm trying to open up another window so I can read you guys chats. So hang on. Is there any way I can blow this up? That's not working. Okay. All right, so I got to pull an audible here. Hang on. I got to pull an audible here. Let's see. So I got one Karrion Kross to NWA. That'd be pretty good. What else we got here? Steven Lee, I'm not happy about Nia Jax and Keith Lee. Amber Moon, B-Fab, Vince McMahon don't care about wrestling. I'm a bit curious to learn a lot more about these releases that came about. Obviously, there's a lot of communication that's going on from what we learned from the last handful of releases, right? Is that, there's a whole lot of heads in the process. We know that Nick Khan is part of the process. We know Kevin Dunn is part of the process. We know Bruce Pritchard is part of the process. We know ultimately that Triple H, Paul Levesque, is part of the process. We know Vince McMahon, who pretty much has the final say, is part of that whole process as well. I just can't help but be reminded, and I would encourage anybody to go out of their way and check out the interview that came about with Ariel Hawaii and the interview he conducted with Nick Khan. And it was a wide-ranging number of topics that they had covered, but they also tackled then at that period of time a bunch of the WWE releases that had came about. And just one thing that kind of sticks out to me that Nick Khan had touched upon was, look, we factor in a lot of things when it comes to the releases. We look at, how this person has been developing. If we think that their development, is basically at goal, above the goal, how much longer do we think it's going to take? If we're going to get an immediate return, or, okay, is there even going to be a return? If so, when? Should we cut our losses? It is wide ranging. I'm not trying to defend WWE at all on what all had came about, but to just hear, because it was refreshing to hear for the first time ever, somebody really, give you that look in between, that look behind the window of WWE, what's going on there exactly. I didn't feel, a curtain jerker or anything like that. I really felt like, okay, right. Okay, I hear you talking. Okay, right. But I must admit, even though a lot of what he was saying in that interview made a lot of sense, and I'm trying to keep all of that stuff in mind, because, look, at the end of the day, it is all about business. But some of these names I'm just looking at and I'm looking at you, Karrion, I'm looking at you, Keith Lee, and I'm just going, even Nia Jax, I'm just going, are you kidding me? Seriously? These names? Are you kidding me? Obviously, we're going to learn a lot more, and I'm sure we'll be talking about this again, not at this length, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot more information. But, as it stands right now, in regards to these names that were released, it looks like John Laurinaitis has sent out a company-wide email Thursday evening, and he's proclaiming that the releases were due to budget cuts. And it's like, what the fuck? Budget cuts, really? We're gonna go the budget cut route. I'm gonna leave you guys with this, because WWE is talking about budget cuts, right? One thing that we consistently do on this show on a weekly basis, or rather yearly basis, but definitely once a quarter, we usually go over key points from WWE's quarter reports. Okay? And all this shit that's being talked about, budget cuts. Let me leave you with this. WWE had saw an increase across the board, all the categories. They saw an increase in the third quarter of 2021. Remember, WWE is a publicly traded company. Their earnings for the third quarter of 2021 was already publicized. They posted $255.8 million in revenue during the mentioned period, which also saw the company, as many of you guys know, return to ticketed live events. So, according to WWE, higher ticket sales as well as venue merchandise sales had contributed to 15%. Break that down. That's 34.2 million, right? So a 15% increase in the company's revenue was recorded during quarter 3 of 2021. Now, Vince McMahon had some comments to say in regards to that, as he was boosting the hell out of the fact that, oh, now that we're touring, it's helping the company perform better than the expectations and blah, 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 blah. And he said, and I quote, that the company will continue to see more success in regards to overall financial performance. Yeah. Just think about that for a second. Just think about that for a second. So you tell me what that sound like when you hear somebody say, oh, budget cuts. Yeah. Fucking budget cuts. That's why we let all these people go. It was because of budget cuts. I'm not buying that whatsoever. Third quarter revenues, $255.8 million, 15% increase over the last year. Yeah. In regards to the digital area, WWE has substantially grew in that department as well. Video views increased by 39%. 39% to 12.8 billion. And hours consumed increased by 20%. So that's about 411 million on all digital and social platforms. So yeah, you guys still drinking that bullshit about budget cuts? I don't know about you guys. They're gonna have to miss me with that. Seriously, they're gonna have to miss me with that. I believe in the whole, hey, we gotta stay cash flow positive. Some of these people that were released, I might be able to bend. I might be able to bend on some of these names that were released. But then there's other names I'm looking at and I'm going, yo, I can think of somebody else that you need to be having in there instead of this person. You feel where I'm coming from? By the way, shout out to JTG, man. JTG, he put out a funny ass tweet, and he pretty much had put up a photo of Jason Riker. And the image basically had said something along the lines of, he played it smart. He didn't pick up his phone, right? And like everybody's going, they're going to get him eventually, because a lot of people are going, how the fuck is Jason Riker still employed with the WWE? I just got a nice hearty little chuckle out of that. I just had to pass that along to you guys, because that pretty much was fucking funny. But yeah, I would definitely say we'll talk a lot more about the numbers and all of that, but that's just some of the bullet points that I recall about the third quarter earnings for this year. But I would encourage you guys, so that you guys are more prepared when we get ready to talk about those quarter numbers on Monday's show. Go out of your way, look all that shit up, cross-reference and all that. Look at the fucking I'm trying to think. They just did the Crown Jewel joint, right? So we're not going to know what happened with Crown Jewel, the amount of money. We're not going to know all of that until next year, when we're able to look at, you feel where I'm coming from? Because it just happened kind of outside of the third quarter. So I don't think that Crown Jewel pay-per-view is going to be part of it. But crunch the numbers. Look at everything that had happened with WWE in the third quarter. And then when we come back here on Monday, we can talk more about the key points from the conference call there. But that, considering all things and what we just talked about, yeah, I don't know about that, y'all. I don't know about that. Hogwash indeed, Strack. Hogwash indeed. All right, so I'm going to say this show is now in the books. We're going to go ahead and get up out of here. For those of you that's going to be checking this out on demand and on the downloads, let me know what you thought about a lot of these releases. Did any of them shock you? If so, which name shocked you? Why did it shock you? Where do you hope that some of these people land? Maybe you're okay with some of these people that got released. If that's you, sound off. I want to know. Give me your reactions, because I definitely will read all the comments, respond to all the comments, and we'll definitely follow up depending on the number of comments that kick in. We'll definitely follow up on Monday's show. But as it stands right now, anything else that happens between now and Monday's show, unless it's some heavy hitting names like what we just got, at this point, Monday, November 8th, after Raw goes off the air, I'll be live with you guys on YouTube and streaming on the usual platforms. We'll get a lot more into aftermath of the releases and, you know, all the other good usual yakety yak that you guys have come to know and appreciate. Meantime, if you haven't done so, you get ready to make your exit, make sure you hit that like button. Feel free to hit that subscribe. Click on that bell notification so you don't miss out on future content that comes your way on a regular basis. You can get at me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. And I almost forgot one other thing. I'm going to begin really promoting the hell out of this on next week's show. Mark this down on your calendars. Sunday, November 14th. Mark that down. We're going to be live at 8 p.m. Eastern. That is officially the 10th anniversary edition of the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Yes, our 10th anniversary show. It's going to officially be on that night at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have loads fun. Already reaching out to a couple of special guests, trying to see what interviews we might be able to get lined up as well. Should be a pretty good show. So make sure you mark that down on your calendars. As far as I know, no pay-per-views or anything is going to be going down that respected weekend. So as a matter of fact, if you guys can bear with me a second here while I got you guys live on the air, because at this point, the next pay-per-view, it should be Survivor Series, and Survivor Series this year, let's see what's going on with Survivor Series. Bear with me a second here. Survivor Series is going to be on... Sweet. Survivor Series is going to be on November the 22nd, and we got Full Gear this coming weekend. Not this weekend, but the next weekend. So let me look at that again. So you know what? Hang on, guys. Hang on. Let's look at AEW Full Gear real quick, because if that is on that Sunday, nah, we're good. So it looks like Full Gear is going to be on Saturday, November 13th. So that's actually good. So there's no pay-per-view on Sunday the 14th of November. So yeah, mark that down. Sunday, November 14th, 8 p.m. Eastern will be the 10th anniversary live edition of the RCWR show. Hope you can join us. All right, that is going to do it. Until next go round, I'm wishing all of you all to be safe and be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go round. Adios.